when I was 22 years old, I finally watched The Exorcist, and I was so already like desensitized by most things in horror. I was like, okay, I don't see what all the fuss was about. But my mom was like, "Oh, you didn't watch it in 1975, young man. You have no idea how much this screwed people up." I remember I got the version you had never seen on DVD because that had just happened too, like in 2000, I think. That was when they put all those new scenes back in the film, like the spider walk and stuff like that. I remember I wanted to go see it in theaters because I was like, "Hey, The Exorcist is in theaters," and I had just met somebody, and like her friends were like, "The Exorcist is terrible. It's so old," and I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess we won't go see it." This is 2000s. Young children. These were like 18, 19. So, um, but I saw it, and then I saw like I think a New Beginning came out a few years later, and that was terrible. And then there was the other version of the New Beginning because nobody could get their act together and put out one version of a film because of like recuts. But then something amazing on the Fox network happened in like 2016, 2017. One of two seasons of a TV show were flipping amazing. The first season is an actual direct sequel to The Exorcist. In many ways, with different actors returning to play familiar characters. But it was a ton of fun, and I absolutely loved the fact that they did that. Um, because it's like I think 10 episodes for that first for the two for each season, and like halfway through the first season, you're hit with this giant revelation. You're like, no way! Even though in the first episode there was a thing on the internet. One of the priests were reading about the incident that happened in the original film. So you're like, oh, it's in the same universe. That's cool. But you didn't realize how much of a sequel it was until you get through that first season, and it was amazing. The second season was hit or miss for me. I I could care less, but it left it on a cliffhanger because Fox can't keep anything going. So years later, David Gordon Green makes Halloween movies, and they're, I guess, incredibly successful in terms of profit, but not exactly successful with the critics and the fans by the end of the entire debacle. And that's a book you can read that's out now, by the way, or you can check out my interview with the actor who played Michael Myers, the two interviews that I've done with him about it. So that's a whole other thing. This is The Exorcist, part 6 or 5, depending on which number it is. And Katie's going to talk about it. Go find the Fox show. So good.
Yes, I love the Fox show. I actually got to meet, they had a screening of that in Chicago. Pre-screening before it actually was released. We got to see 2 episodes, and the actor that plays the priest and the writer-director were there, and that was absolutely incredible. That was great. And to see, with that show, you had Gina Davis playing a character and in a genre that I'm not. I mean, I feel like she hasn't really done that in 40 years since really The Fly. And to see her, then do a television show that's based on one of the most iconic horror films, it was fantastic. But we're here to discuss Exorcist Believers, directed by David Gordon Green and written by, and I can't believe there's 5 writers on this actually. Written by Peter Sattler, David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, Scott Teems, and then William Peter Blattley. But it's based on his book. It stars Leslie Odom Jr. He is the movie begins in Haiti, and it's a husband and wife who are, I wouldn't say they're on their baby moon, but she's definitely far along. That, I mean, she must have planned on having that baby in Haiti, because I don't think she would have been able to fly back and forth, which that may be a little bit of a mistake there in the storytelling that people don't realize. But they're there taking photographs. They're in churches, going to different areas of the city in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Tragedy happens, and then it flashes back to 13 years, which is today, in Georgia. Leslie Odom Jr. has a daughter named Angela. Angela and her friend Catherine are going to do a little spooky kind of seance after school. And basically all hell breaks loose. Now, there's a couple things with storytelling, and I felt like maybe editing that were off on the film. I'm not sure. I felt like there are certain scenes, especially with Catherine's parents, who are played by Jennifer Nettles and Norbert Leo Butts. I felt like there's a major scene with their family that it seemed like something was missing, because that couple, that family, they're very religious. They go to church every Sunday. They talk about their faith and stuff like that. And they also give a little bit of a Bible lesson that I was not aware of, regarding the 3 days between when Jesus died and when he came back for his resurrection. That was a very interesting little take in the film. I'm not going to give it away because I don't think there are spoilers. But there seems to be, they were so like gung-ho and so much that when there's this sequence in the film that's very important, the husband is kind of cowering away, and it's not necessarily in a scared position that I felt. It was more in like a shame position, like something had happened and we're just not seeing that as an audience, which I was a little bit confused about. uh in the, apparently in the trailers, you do know that uh Ellen Burstyn returns as Chris McNeil. If you do not know who Chris McNeil is and you have not seen The Exorcist, this will be a big miss for you, because she's a huge, that's a huge things that she is in this. She is the mother of Reagan McNeil, who Reagan McNeil was the one who was possessed in The Exorcist as a 13-year-old girl. So she has this knowledge of what this was like, trying to help other families in case this happens, and has been studying this since this happened to her daughter in 1973. Slowly but surely, the girls become more and more possessed. We see that throughout the film. Again, it seems kind of weird that once one is in the hospital, since there's two, you get two different aspects of medical care also. It's like one is in the hospital and is institutionalized, another one they just let go at home, and let go home and let the family kind of deal with it, which I'm like, is that how it would happen? I'm not really sure. But one thing I will say is I felt like this was a film that gave me a lesson. Definitely was lessons in theology more than faith. It definitely, I mean, the Catholic Church definitely has the BDE. That's right, I said it. You can quote me on this. But I did like the aspect of them going into different areas of different religions to try and help the girls and exorcise these demons. I thought that was a very novel approach, and I thought that was very open-minded to, different beliefs and whatnot. But it's definitely, when some of the people who are so gung-ho and faith-based like kind of lose their shit very quickly. That definitely stuck out to me in the film. The direction I thought was not bad. I thought, seeing the girls, seeing their transformation, the makeup effects were well done. Nothing out of the ordinary or extraordinary, except for one extremely violent part that I don't want to give away, because that has a major I don't know, it's I feel like it's a major scene in the film that people need to witness. But I thought that Ellen Burstyn was great. I think this film definitely would not be the same without Leslie Odom Jr., as other films have kind of based it more on the people who are trying to exorcise the demon. And, with the religious aspect of it, I felt like this was his film, and the love with his daughter, and, trying to make sure she came back to him. Production design, nothing special, nothing great. It was fine. I did think the story, as again, a little wonky at times. It could have gone a little bit farther, especially since it's 2023. I don't know. I know 1973, they had some aspects in this that definitely, I mean, it didn't show certain things that were happening to a girl at that age who was, I think Linda Blair was 14 when she was filming this. Again, you don't have to show that with girls who are supposed to be portraying 13-year-olds. You can, let people's imaginations, you can, imply certain things that definitely didn't have to show them. And more importantly, so the actresses, the children, don't have to go through that for their performances. I felt like that was not done and could have been done, and could have had more of an impact. Do I think this film, I mean, if you're going to try and do that, oh, where's this rank? How does this go? I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was anything like, it's not like, oh my God, this is the worst film ever. And it's also, oh my God, this is the best film ever. I mean, I know they keep saying that they're going to do three, and I feel like The Exorcist has had a solid three. Exorcist,
It's more like an
Exorcist three,
unnecessary
and
film.
this one. This is the third. This should be the third. Exorcist 2 I thought was kind of crap. But yeah, I think this is a solid standalone film. I know apparently there is supposed to be two others. I don't think that's necessary or worthy of having two others, but this one was fine. And the thing that I will end it on is that it has the most iconic reunion in horror film history that you will ever see on film. I don't think that any other film can surpass this in 50 years. And I could be wrong, but to me, this is the most iconic horror film reunion you will ever see. So we'll leave it at that.
When so what I lit, by the way, is a candle that came with an Exorcist kit from a previous horror movie. I'm not even kidding. These
Oh,
are
that's funny because I got a candle for this too.
This is the Virgin de Guadalupe. I am probably mispronouncing it. Our Lady of Guadalupe. These are made. Usually, you find these in like Christian bookstores and things like that. They have the Virgin Mary on them. This was actually sent to me as a promo item for another kind of like demonic possession kind of film. Uh, so I actually do have my own Exorcist kit available in case I ever need to perform one. And I am a preordained minister of the United Church of Life, so I just need to learn how to do an exorcism, and we'll see what happens. I saw it done in a movie; it looked very easy. Um, I just didn't feel like this movie necessarily needed to be made. I went in this one like, I mean, I went into Meg, the first horror movie this year that came out, and I was just like, oh hey, this is pretty good. I went in this movie and was just, and my attitude didn't change from beginning to end. This didn't need to be made. This was serviceable. It wasn't terrible, as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's definitely better than any of the last Exorcist movies that have come out. All the Exorcist movies are just awful. I mean, Exorcist 3 is okay, but it's not like, I'm sorry, yeah, it's not my favorite film. Uh, but the last two times we got an Exorcist film from this series, by the way, were terrible, incomprehensible, and just not good at all. There was one that was straight to DVD, and there was the one that was in theaters. So it was like, or the other one was in theaters for like 5 minutes, but I was working at Blockbuster Video at the time, and I remember going, "Oh, hey, that's the other version of the same movie." So let's just hope they have just this one version of this movie. I mean, you can go see it if you're a fan of The Exorcist, you're a fan of them doing this, retcon film series that everyone's doing nowadays. It's 1.5, it's the second film. Um, in ignoring all the other sequels. FYI, the Japanese have been doing this for many, 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 many years. It's just in America in the last maybe 5 years we have been doing this retcon. Oh, all the other films don't exist anymore. It's just this film, thing. They've been doing it with all of their kaiju films. Godzilla every 5 minutes is like, oh, it's just the original film, and then everything else is inconsequential. So it's something we seem to be doing very something new, um, to varying degrees of success. We'll see what the next film franchise out there that's going to do this is. A lot of people are like, oh, they should do a direct sequel to the Nightmare on Elm Street and ignore all the others so they can bring back Heather. And I'm like, yes, but nobody wants to do that. Who owns the copyright to Nightmare on Elm Street right now? So that's probably not going to happen. I recommend the film if you're a fan of The Exorcist. Otherwise, if you've never seen the films and you've only ever seen the original and you just don't have you've never seen any of the sequels, it's either hit or miss. But go hunt down that Fox TV show. I can't recommend that freaking thing enough. And I don't know where it's streaming. So, and it's I think I do know it did get a DVD release, so you might be able to find the DVD of the first season. Um,
Maybe on Hulu. I'm
Maybe on Hulu, yeah,
almost
because it is owned by
possibly. I
Disney.
think it is.
Yeah, it's a Disney Exorcist. I would love. Okay, so there is a great thing I can recommend right now. There's a Mickey Mouse cartoon out there right now that is very Looney Tune style. I would love to see like a Mickey Mouse version of The Exorcist.
That is thing. I will have to I do want to say that I myself experienced Freakin's curse not once but twice regarding seeing the film and then also reviewing the film. If you don't know what that means, Freakin's curse, really,
Oh,
you call yourself a horror fan. It's William Friedkin who directed the original Exorcist. He actually did an interview. There is a quote that that they're remaking his movie and stuff, or they're making a different version of his movie. This is before he died, obviously. That would
this
be
year.
funny.
Didn't he die this year?
Yeah, he did die this year, like in July.
Okay.
Um,
Or go watch our video about the documentary about or the interview, the Shutter thing.
yes, which is excellent. Bill
Yeah.
Friedkin is an amazing director, brilliant as hell in all aspects of art. And one of my favorite documentaries I've ever seen. Like, this guy did not hold back regarding what he felt about different things, and he just did what he did. I mean, I freaking he's definitely missed as someone in the art community, and for his family and everything. But Freakin's curse, he said, they're gonna redo my film. I'm kind of paraphrasing, they're redoing my film. I hope everything goes bad. Freakin's curse. And when I went to my press screening for it, the sound was out not once, not twice, but thrice. So I saw the first 20 minutes of this film 3 times, technically twice because I didn't want to and I kept going out because you're in a film, it's pissing you off that you can't understand what's going on, and that happened to a number of the members of the press. Then the second time that I actually got to see the film, I go to the theater, I watch it. It was okay. Sound definitely was needed in those places where it was missing, which I also want to point out, all the sound that was missing, you could somewhat hear the men, but the women, their voices were muted. Like the beginning of the film, you couldn't hear the wife's voice at all. You could barely hear the children. And I thought that was like patriarchy. And the excerpt, my film was possessed by the patriarchy. So I was excited to see The Exorcist. I was exhausted after that. I thought I was going to be excommunicated after I tried to see it again, but I saw it again. You saw the full thing. Was supposed to record with Chris, and I was so sick. I felt like I was like expelling my own demons. So again, Freakin's curse. I feel like there have been a number of people who have tried to see this, and similar things have happened. Coincidence? Probably. I mean, I think not though. I think that maybe Bill has a little bit of ghost in the machine or something going on with this. I don't know. I do think it's crazy though that all these things happened regarding one film.
Hmm. Check out the rest of the videos here on the Rated Horror YouTube channel. Look in the subscription box down below for that other review we did of the Shutter documentary or sit down chat with William Friedkin. Friedkin. It was just a couple of years ago, but I'll put a link in the description box below. And we'll be back with another exciting review here on the Rated Horror channel. Check out Katie over on her Facebook page and like, subscribe, and comment as well. Thank you, everyone.